guys, welcome to my kitchen. Good to have you here.
I thought we'd go out for a nice lunch today. What do you think?
No, we really wanted to go out for a nice lunch today, but we're in the middle of a pandemic still.
True.
And we're on lockdown.
True, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
Okay, so our backup plan is to stay in and have a Mexican lunch today. What do you think about that?
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's nice. I like it. It's great.
Okay, so let me tell you what we're gonna make today because I think you're gonna really like this. We're gonna do a skinny margarita. That's where we're gonna start because every good meal starts with a nice cocktail, right? And then we're gonna move into a shrimp taco, but what makes this shrimp taco so amazing is that we're gonna serve it with a fresh guacamole and a really fresh corn and tomato salsa.
Spicy?
We'll add a little heat, just
Yeah.
a little bit of heat, not too spicy, right?
Right. Nice.
Okay, great. Okay, let's get this skinny margarita started. I know we discussed that the beginning of a really good meal always starts with a great cocktail or a great drink. So we're gonna start by using a shaker because I think every cocktail is just a little bit better shaken up. So what I have in my shaker is some ice, and I'm gonna add a couple squeezes of fresh lime. What makes this margarita so special, you guys, is the ingredients. Everything's just gonna be really fresh, really light. So I'm gonna do 2 nice squeezes of fresh lime into my shaker, all right? And then to that, I'm gonna add a half a shot of triple sec or any sort of orange liqueur is really, really good in that. Now, a great margarita starts with a really good tequila. And I'm not selling this tequila, so I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but you wanna do a nice full shot of a high quality tequila because we're not going to have a lot of sweet and sour and sugary margarita mix that's going to cover up the tequila. The tequila is really going to shine. So it's really important to use a good one. All right. Now we need one more ingredient because this is going to be really, really tangy if we don't add it. And that's some Rosie's lime juice. You guys, it's about a half a shot of fresh Rosie's lime juice. And that's sweetened. It's lightly sweetened. So that actually just adds to that flavor a little bit. I'm just gonna cap that off. I got my highball glass already set up with some rocks there. I don't salt the rim. I know people really like salt on the rim, some don't. I'm a purist. I really don't like salt on the rim.
I like salt on the rim.
You like salt on the rim?
Yeah.
Really? That's surprising to me. I didn't think you really like a lot of salt.
Oh, I know.
All right, well this one's gonna be without the salt, but we can always do that. And a really good shake, a really hearty shake. Now, there's something we're gonna add on after this. Do you know what that is?
Salt.
No! So we're gonna put our cocktail into that highball. Doesn't that look good? Okay, now a margarita can feel pretty heavy, except here's what I do at the end, you guys. Get a nice shot of my organized fridge here. I add a little club soda or a little sparkly water on top, and I just happen to have a little lime flavored. So I'm just gonna do a little spritz of that on top. And what that does is it just lightens up the flavor so that that cocktail isn't so heavy. I think I need to go in for a taste on this. What do you think?
Go for it.
Should I be the first one?
Yes.
Cheers. Let's you. Right?
So refreshing.
You may be fighting over this one. It's really, really good. So the cook gets to get the cocktail while they're cooking the rest of the food. So we're going to be moving on to the guacamole and the fresh corn and tomato salsa. I got us started on our fresh corn and tomato salsa. Now I'm erring here a little bit because the corn is not fresh. We can't get really good corn year round, and in many parts of the country we're living on canned corn and frozen corn right now. So this is frozen defrosted corn, sweet corn, but I did get some fresh cherry tomatoes. They're multicolored, and I just quartered those and placed them in the bowl. And then we're gonna just add layers of flavor now. And we add that through the peppers and shallot. Now we had a conversation about shallot last weekend, so I'm doing a swap out and I'm gonna add shallot to this corn salsa. because Christian and I were talking about shallots and what they were. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make this salsa with a shallot. So a shallot is a very mild onion and it has a bit of garlic flavor to it. So when you're in a pinch and you don't have garlic, shallot is a really nice way to add flavor of garlic and onion. So, you have the shallot. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run our knife down the shallot. Then I'm gonna run it across. This is how I get myself a nice mince. Nice sharp knife, really important. Then I bend knuckles in and just slide the knife through. That's a fair amount. Sweep that right into the bowl. That's really going to add some nice flavors to that corn salsa. Now, my favorite way to slice a pepper is as such. I hold the pepper down on the cutting board and I cut around the seed pod, taking out the flesh and leaving the white pith behind. Then I'm gonna cut strips straight down these slices. Now you guys might be used to the big peppers. We're really fortunate in the OC to have a plethora of fresh ingredients. And I really like to buy these mini peppers because they're great to snack on and use for a crudité if you have a nice dip, but they're also great to use in a pinch when you need just a little bit of chopped pepper. So I'm just gonna run my knife through there, small dice. I'm gonna scoop that up with a blade, drop it right in there. So you can see all the beautiful colors this salsa is gonna have, but not only beautiful color, great flavor. So I'm gonna do the same thing with my red pepper. I'm just gonna cut around the sides. We're looking pretty good with our veg now. We're gonna add some flavors through our herbs and our spices. Now, we kind of have a debate about cilantro. I absolutely love cilantro. I know many people don't care for the flavor of cilantro. They feel as though it tastes like soap. Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't actually.
Well, this is fresh cilantro, and what I do is I pick the leaves off the stems and I hand tear my herbs. I just think it keeps the integrity of the herb. When we run a knife through greens like this, sometimes they tend to turn black and they don't look as fresh, and I like things a little bit more rustic. So I just hand tore the cilantro, little black pepper, a good pinch of kosher salt. I like kosher salt. I feel like it has more flavor. We can add more later if we need it. Now, one thing I wanted that I did not get at the store was a jalapeno, and this what I love to have on hand is a little bit of heat. And so I always have crushed red pepper flakes. We always like a little heat, right? Not a lot of heat, just a little heat. So I'm gonna do just a sprinkle of crushed red pepper, and I'm going to use a little bit of tahini. And this is just a classic Mexican spice that we have that tastes like lime and a little bit of chili powder and different flavors to just layer on flavors. So this is looking pretty good so far, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so this is going to go on our shrimp taco. But let me tell you, if you add a can of drained and rinsed black beans to this, this will be a beautiful, beautiful salad. A little olive oil in there. Now we're gonna add some fresh lime juice because this is really gonna amplify the flavor. And I'm just gonna do about a quarter of a lime, really squeeze all that great juice out. We're so, so blessed to have the amount of fresh produce that we have living on the West Coast, so I always like to take advantage of having those ingredients in hand. And then I'm going to use a little bit of lemon olive oil, you guys. Just a touch of lemon olive oil, just to boost the citrus flavor in that salsa. And I'm going to give it a stir and put it in the fridge while I make my fresh guacamole. But let's give that a taste, don't you think? Make sure the seasoning is good. What I'm tasting in this is not only the freshness of all that citrus, great amount of lime in here. The tomatoes have good flavor, even though it's the middle of the winter. And the sweetness of the corn really is rounding everything out. There's not a lot of heat in here, but as this sits, that heat will start to amplify. So I'm gonna leave the heat alone, but just add a little bit of black pepper, because y'all know I love black pepper. So I'm just gonna give that a quick stir, cover it up, put it in the fridge. Isn't that pretty?
Very colorful, yes. Great.
Awesome. Fresh guacamole. I know some people say guacamole. I always use the G in that. Fresh guacamole, so good. Everyone thinks theirs is the best. What makes mine the best? Fresh garlic. I know a lot of people don't use fresh garlic in their guacamole, but I love it. So anyway, let me start by cutting this avocado. I already have one in the bowl. I got a nice sharp knife. What I do is I run my knife around the avocado. That's a pretty avocado. Take that seed out of the way. I drop my knife onto that seed, twist the avocado, okay? I'm lucky enough to have a tap thing right here, so I just tap that off my blade. Crosshatch. You can use pre-chopped garlic. Fresh garlic is always best. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take that chef's knife, lay it flat on the garlic, smack it. What that does is allow the skin to come off the garlic. We don't want those skins in our guacamole. So I have 2 nice cloves of garlic. I'm gonna run my knife through. Is this making you hungry?
Absolutely.
Who doesn't like guacamole? So I'm just gonna trail my knife back and forth through the garlic, mincing it down because we don't want a big bite of garlic. So I'm just gonna run my knife over the garlic, then sweep it together. Anybody have a good tip for getting the garlic smell off of your fingers and the onions?
No, honey, what do you do?
Send us a message. I just wash my hands a lot with soap and water. I've heard lime juice or some sort of acid on your fingers helps get rid of that smell. So I'm gonna drop that garlic in. Sweep it in. Okay, we're gonna take a moment and we're gonna mash this up. So this is what we have so far: avocado, onions, and garlic. And I'm gonna use my potato masher. I don't like my guacamole too fine. I like it a little coarser, a little bit more rustic. Like most of my cooking, it's rustic. So this is a great way to just get a little smash, start breaking those avocados down, and also it releases the oils and the essence of the onions and the garlic. Then I'm just gonna run my spoon around the bowl. You can see that's still a pretty coarse chop on the avocado, but as we start blending other ingredients in, it's gonna break down a little bit more. So I'm gonna set the masher aside, and I'm gonna come in with some fresh ground pepper. Because we always gotta have a little pepper, that's so good. And a nice pinch of our kosher salt. Again, salt to taste. I would have to say one of the biggest mistakes chefs make or home cooks make is not salting the food enough. So salt brings out all the natural flavor. You like a lot of cilantro, right?
I guess.
Okay.
I better.
There we go. And because we are missing a jalapeno, and just like you guys might be missing an ingredient, I always want you to know to have things in your pantry that will help you when you need a little heat, because we're adding on layers of flavor. Crushed red pepper. So I'm just going to do a little shaky shake, because as this sits, it is going to develop more heat. And I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to add a little tahini, because I think that can only add to the flavor. I don't always do this, but you know, that's the great thing about cooking, is just doing things how you like to do it, and maybe changing it out every time, swapping some things out and seeing what you think, what your family thinks. If it added to it, if it took away, then you just change it the next time. There's no making mistakes here. Okay, nice squeeze of lime. I'm gonna go in with 1/4 of a lime and do a nice fold in on this and see how we are for that acid. And then if we need to add more in, we will, but you know, we can't take it away once it's in there. So it's better to start with a little bit, same with your salt and pepper, and then add it after you taste it. All right, that's looking pretty good to me. Some people add fresh tomato, chopped, diced in there. You can do that as well. If you have a fresh jalapeno, put it in there. Shrimp tacos, can't wait. Our stay-at-home meal is all about the Mexican shrimp taco today. And we have a great big bowl of defrosted Gulf shrimp. What do we know about Gulf shrimp?
Gulf shrimp comes from the Gulf of Mexico. They have the best flavor of any shrimp. Not to take away from the seafood flavor of Orange County, but Gulf shrimp, and I'm sure a lot of people know, have way more flavor.
Would you say it's a sweetness of flavor?
Yes, definitely is. Also the crabs too, not just the shrimp.
Ooh, I'll have to try those next. So I'm putting a little heat underneath this pan because we're gonna be sauteing our Gulf shrimp. You could grill them if they were larger. You could skewer them and cook them on a grill, get a little bit of smoky flavor out of them, but I'm gonna do something else to add that smoky flavor since we're cooking indoors today. And I'm gonna do that by adding a little chili powder and a little smoked paprika. And smoked paprika is something that I have been using just recently to amplify the smokiness in my food. A little bit goes a long way, and the Hungarian paprika is the best, but I will tell you, this can, it fights with me a little bit, so don't try this at home. But I use my chef's knife to open that up, and I just do a little shake of that Hungarian paprika over the shrimp. And then I'm gonna come in with my measuring spoons, and y'all know I don't normally measure, but for certain situations, I'm gonna do just a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder over that shrimp. That's gonna give a lot of flavor. I'm trying not to cover up the lovely flavor of those Gulf shrimps with too much seasoning. So I'm gonna do a good pinch kosher salt. And a sprinkle of something different, lemon pepper, because I love a little citrus flavor. I'm gonna give that just a little toss. Make sure they're well coated. Okay, got my pan heating up. We want to make sure that it's nice and warm before we throw these shrimp in there. Once we toss the shrimp in, they're gonna go really fast. So we always start with a hot pan, and then we add our oil in, because if we start with a cold pan, the shrimp are gonna stick, and we don't want the shrimp to stick. Now I'm gonna change it up a little bit because there's no garlic in this light marinade that we've done. I'm gonna add a little garlic oil to my pan, and we're gonna add garlic that way. So my pan is hot. I'm gonna add just a little bit because we eat healthy. We try to not do too much fat, too much sugar wherever we can. And once that's hot, I'm gonna throw these shrimp in real fast. So I'm gonna give a little squeeze of lime juice, that fresh lime juice, before they go into the pan. I'm gonna toss that around. It's just gonna help that seasoning adhere to the shrimp. Right? Get them nice and even so that they all cook at the same time. These shrimp are going to cook really fast. When you see them turn pink, that is when they are done. So I'm going to cook them for just about 30 seconds on one side, and then I'm going to toss them around a little bit and cook them on the other side. You see they're starting to curl and change color. They become translucent. That's when you know they're done. The sin is to overcook them, so you don't want to overcook. They will continue to cook even outside of the pan, so you kind of want to err on the side of under. That smells good. I'm not complaining about that. It smells really good. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off because you can see they're done already. All right, so what I'm going to do is transfer these shrimp into this serving bowl right here. Wow, how about that?
Very nice.
Okay, so we're going to take our shrimp back over here and we're going to warm up some tortillas. I got a pan ready to go over here. I'm going to throw some heat underneath it. Now, if you were making tacos for your family, for a crowd, I would suggest putting like 10 tortillas in aluminum foil, throwing them in the oven about 325 for 10-15 minutes. It's just a quick way to get everybody's tacos ready at the same time. But since we're just making 2 tacos, I'm gonna heat my tortillas in a pan. So we're using flour tortillas today. So we're just gonna drop that tortilla right into that pan, and you can use tongs, or if you just have, let's see if I have a pair of tongs that's easily accessible here. If you have hands that have been burned enough, you can just use your hands like I do, and we just warm them up in the pan. And what that does is it just makes them more pliable. Turn that heat off. Okay. I'm ready to assemble.
Yeah, look at that. It's so good. Can't wait to try it.
Me too.
Wow, look at that.
Nothing better than something made fresh at home. So,
Very nice.
do you like a little squeeze of fresh lime juice on your taco?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
So this is lockdown lunch. That's what this is.
A really nice lockdown lunch, though. This is probably a better taco than we could get
Yeah.
some places, right?
I like the plastic container, like you take it and go.
Yeah.
You want to.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Now, watch out, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. That fresh guacamole. Those sweet raw shrimp. You were not kidding about the flavor of those raw shrimp. Those are really, really good.
That is awesome. Great job.
See? What happens? On a good
Thank
taco.
you guys for joining us for lunch. And be sure to follow us. We'll be taking some nice adventures. Once the restaurants slowly, gradually start to reopen, we'll take you some of our favorite spots in OC. Until next time.
Take care. God bless.